Settle yourself in a comfortable place. Allow your body to soften. Rest your head gently. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe, let the day begin to fade away. Like ink dissolving into water, the tension of your body loosens and drifts. Before we begin, I invite you to gently share where you are watching from and what time it is where you are. Take a moment to write it in the comments if you wish, and allow yourself to feel connected to others across the world who are listening along with you. And if you would like more calm journeys such as this, please remember to subscribe. Now imagine a quiet path, lined with stones worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of pine and earth. You begin to walk this path slowly, each step lighter than the one before. The sound of your steps is soft, like a gentle drum, fading into stillness. A Zen master once said, "When walking, walk. When sitting, sit. Above all, do not wobble." Let these words guide you now. With every step, walk only. With every breath, breathe only. The path leads to a wooden bridge, arching gently over a stream. The water moves slowly, like liquid glass, reflecting the glow of the setting sunday. You pause, resting your hands on the smooth wood of the railing, and listen to the water's quiet song. Breathe in and breathe out. As the last rays of the sun settle behind distant hills, lanterns along the bridge glow softly, guiding your steps forward. The world is easing into twilight, and with it, your mind eases into stillness. You cross the bridge and find yourself in a garden, wide and open, yet perfectly still. Each stone placed with intention, each tree allowed its natural grace. A koi pond ripples slightly, fish gliding like whispers beneath the surface. A thought arises: how can the fish swim with such ease, never questioning the water that surrounds them? And a reply comes quietly from within, because water is their home, as stillness is ours. You sit beside the pond, resting in its calm. Your breath deepens without effort. The pause between breaths stretches gently, like the silence between notes of a flute. A breeze moves through the garden, carrying with it the faint rustle of bamboo leaves. Each leaf sways and returns, never clinging to the wind, never resisting its departure. The master Dogen once taught, "Do not follow the ideas of others, but learn to listen to the voice within yourself." As you hear the bamboo, you also hear your own voice, reminding you to let go. Breathe in and breathe out. Time begins to blur in this garden. The sky darkens slowly, and the first stars appear above. You feel as though you are both sitting here and floating among them, as though the pond and the night sky have become one reflection. Your eyes grow heavy, yet your heart feels lighter. And in this gentle light, a story begins to unfold. Long ago, a monk carried a lantern down a quiet mountain path. A traveler met him, asking, "Why do you carry a lantern when the moon shines so brightly?" The monk lifted the lantern higher and replied, "So I can light the way for those behind me." The memory of this parable lingers as the pond's surface glimmers with starlight. You feel the quiet wisdom of those words echoing gently in your heart. Breathe in and breathe out. Your awareness drifts again, carried by the sound of water and wind. You imagine stepping back onto the path, leaving the garden and following the trail deeper into the forest. Each step takes you further into calm, further from the noise of waking life. The forest embraces you. Branches arch overhead, forming a natural temple. The ground is soft with moss, each step like pressing into a cushion of green. Fireflies flicker in the distance, their lights moving like tiny lanterns in a slow dance. You pause, watching them hover in silence. It feels as though they are guiding you, small stars brought down to earth. And so you follow, not rushing, simply drifting along the path, as though time itself has fallen asleep. The fireflies drift deeper into the woods, and you walk slowly beneath their glow. Their tiny bodies shimmer, like sparks of thought, rising into the night. You notice how they appear and vanish, like the rhythm of breath, like the way thoughts come and go without needing to be held. A clearing opens ahead. The earth here is soft, and the air carries the cool fragrance of cedar. In the center of the clearing is a single stone lantern, its shape worn but graceful, its flame flickering gently. You sit near it, feeling the warmth and the comfort of its steady light. Breathe in and breathe out. The flame seems to breathe with you, leaning and returning in harmony. You gaze at it and feel its stillness seep into you. The lantern has been here longer than memory, it seems, yet its purpose is simple: to offer light in darkness. You recall a teaching, sitting quietly, doing nothing. Spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. These words, like the lantern, ask for no effort. They simply remind you that life unfolds naturally when you allow it. As your body grows heavier and your thoughts grow lighter, you rise again, following a path that winds away from the clearing. The trail slopes gently upward, leading you to higher ground. The forest thins, revealing a hillside bathed in moonlight. The moon itself is vast tonight, resting low on the horizon, its light silver and pure. It bathes the hillside in a glow that feels almost like water flowing down from the sky. You walk through grasses that sway like ocean waves in the night air. Each movement of the blades seems to whisper a secret, soft and ancient. The sound blends with your breath until it is all one rhythm. At the top of the hill, a small temple rests, its wooden beams glowing softly in the moonlight. A bell hangs at its entrance, silent for now. You step closer, feeling the smooth wood beneath your fingertips. Inside, the temple is empty but alive with stillness. Tatami mats spread across the floor. A single scroll hangs from the wall with the calligraphy of one word: Mu, nothingness. You sit upon the mat, facing the scroll, and let your gaze soften. Breathe in and breathe out. The silence of the temple deepens. It feels less like the absence of sound and more like the presence of peace. The word before you, Mu, is not empty, but full of possibility, full of the freedom that comes when nothing binds you. A story comes to mind. A student once asked his master, "Does a dog have Buddha nature?" The master replied, "Only with the word Mu." The word was not an answer, but a doorway, a space to rest in. You feel yourself resting in it now. The night grows deeper, and the stars above the temple shine brighter. Their light enters through the wooden beams, scattering across the floor like grains of sand. You lie back upon the mat, feeling the earth support you fully. Your body sinks, your breath slows, and your mind drifts in the starlight. The stars seem to breathe with you, inhaling and exhaling, as though the universe itself is at rest. The bell at the temple entrance stirs softly in the night breeze. a single chime echoing into the forest. The sound is both near and far, both fleeting and eternal. It fades slowly, leaving behind only stillness. Breathe in and breathe out. The sound of the bell lingers within you, guiding you deeper into rest. Its echo becomes your heartbeat, steady and calm. You drift in that rhythm, each breath carrying you further into a sea of quiet. You drift in that rhythm, each breath like a wave carrying you further from the shore of thought. The temple around you feels as though it has dissolved, leaving only open space. The sky above is endless, yet it holds you gently, like water holds a leaf. As you close your eyes, you begin to hear the forest again, but now it is softer, dreamlike. The rustle of leaves sounds like whispers of wisdom. The chirp of night insects becomes a chorus of reassurance. Each sound arises, lingers, and fades without clinging. A teaching arises in memory. Let go, or be dragged. The words come not as instruction, but as a reminder. You feel how tightly the mind can hold, and how simple it becomes when the hand of thought opens. Breathe in and breathe out. The hillside begins to change around you, as though the dream of night is guiding you elsewhere. The grasses give way to sand, soft beneath your feet. You are now standing on the edge of a wide shore, the ocean stretching before you under the glow of the moon. Waves roll gently toward you, each one rising and falling with perfect ease. The sound is steady, calming, and timeless. You step forward, and the cool water brushes your feet, then recedes, leaving behind smooth patterns in the sand. You walk slowly along the shoreline. The ocean sings to you, its voice steady and unbroken, like a chant that has no beginning and no end. Each wave is a breath of the earth itself, exhaling toward you, inhaling away again. Breathe in and breathe out. The sand carries your footsteps gently. Soon, you notice a circle of stones arranged upon the beach. In the center burns a small fire, its flames dancing quietly. You sit beside it, listening to the crackle as sparks rise into the night sky and join the stars above. A parable forms within the firelight. Once, a monk tended a flame through the darkest night. When asked why he kept watch so patiently, he said, "The flame does not need me. I stay awake to remember that I, too, am fire." You gaze at the flames and feel the warmth in your chest. You are both the fire and the night that holds it. You are the flame's brightness and the stillness surrounding it. The waves continue their song in the background, harmonizing with the fire's whisper. Together, they weave a lullaby of water and light. Breathe in and breathe out. The fire begins to fade gently, its work complete. You rise again, turning back toward the path that leads away from the shore. The sand becomes stone, and the stone becomes earth, and soon you find yourself among trees once more. The forest here is different, quieter, more ancient. The trunks are tall and wide, their bark patterned with the wisdom of centuries. You touch one gently, and it feels alive, steady, and patient. High above, branches sway slowly, their movements graceful against the night sky. The stars peek through the leaves like lanterns hung by unseen hands. As you walk, you notice a sound ahead, the trickle of water. You follow it until you arrive at a stream flowing through the forest. The water is clear, reflecting the moonlight in a silver path. You kneel beside it, dipping your fingers into the cool current. The stream flows without effort, finding its way over stone and root, always moving, never in haste. You drink from it, and its freshness fills you with quiet strength. A teaching arises. Be like water, my friend. It adapts to the vessel. It flows around obstacles. It yields, but cannot be broken. The words ripple in your heart as the stream continues its endless journey. Breathe in and breathe out. You lie back on the moss beside the stream, the sound of water soothing every thought. Your body feels heavy, yet weightless, as though the earth itself is cradling you. The stream becomes your lullaby, carrying you further into stillness. Your eyelids grow heavy. The stars above blur into a gentle glow, like lanterns swaying in the night. The forest hums softly, and all is at peace. The stream continues its endless murmur, weaving through stones polished by time. Each ripple reflects a fragment of the moon, as though the sky itself had fallen into the water. Your eyes trace the stream as it winds into the distance, disappearing into the embrace of the forest. The sound becomes softer, more distant, until it blends entirely with the breath in your chest. Breathe in and breathe out. Rising gently, you follow a path lined with lanterns set low to the ground. Their light flickers softly, guiding your way without pressing against the darkness. Shadows stretch and fold with your steps, yet never feel heavy. Instead, they walk beside you, like quiet companions. The forest opens again, revealing a meadow under the wide night sky. The grass sways like a sea, each blade moving to the rhythm of the unseen wind. At the meadow's center stands a small pavilion, its roof curved elegantly, its pillars steady and welcoming. You step inside. The pavilion is open to the world, offering shelter without walls. A low bench rests in the center. You sit and look outward, the meadow stretching like a soft ocean beneath the stars. Here, the silence deepens once more, not empty silence, but full, filled with the hum of life, the quiet breath of the earth. The more you listen, the more it feels like the world itself is meditating with you. A teaching floats into your awareness. Silence is sometimes the best answer. These words dissolve into the night air, becoming indistinguishable from the stars themselves. You close your eyes and simply listen. The grass, the wind, the distant water, all sounds woven together into one seamless song. Nothing needs to be added, nothing needs to be taken away. Breathe in and breathe out. After a while, you rise from the pavilion and step once more into the meadow. Your feet brush against the cool grass. Each step feels like a gentle bow to the earth, an offering of gratitude for this stillness. The meadow leads upward toward a ridge. You climb slowly, unhurried, your body light. At the top, you find a wide plateau where the sky feels close enough to touch. The moon hangs overhead, luminous and vast. You lie down upon the grass, gazing upward. The stars are infinite, scattered like jewels across a velvet sky. Their light falls over you, soft and cool, as though the universe itself is tucking you in for rest. Here, there is nothing to do, nothing to chase, only the rhythm of breath, the embrace of night, and the steady pulse of life itself. Breathe in and breathe out. As your body grows heavier against the earth, your mind floats lighter into the sky. Thoughts thin, becoming like clouds drifting past the moon. They appear, shift, and vanish, leaving only open space. The plateau becomes your resting place, the stars become your guardians, and the night itself becomes your blanket, wrapping you in peace. The final words of a teacher echo softly. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. With this thought, you close your eyes and surrender to the vastness of rest. The stars above hold you in their gaze, yet as your breath slows, the sky begins to shift. The plateau beneath you softens, as though the earth itself is turning into a dream. When you open your eyes, you find yourself on a path of white sand stretching through a quiet valley. The moonlight paints the sand with silver, and each grain glimmers as though it holds its own tiny star. The valley is calm. Mountains rise gently on either side, their slopes clothed in mist that curls like incense smoke. The mist drifts slowly across the path, parting as you move forward, then closing again like the breath of the earth. Breathe in and breathe out. As you continue, you notice stone markers placed at intervals along the sand. Each one bears a simple character carved deep into its surface: peace, compassion, patience, harmony. The words are not commands, but reminders, offered gently with every step you take. The sound of flowing water returns, faint at first, then clearer. A river runs through the valley, its surface wide and slow. The moon floats upon it, shimmering softly as though the river were carrying the sky itself downstream. The river appears first as a brightness between reeds, a ribbon of slow silver drawing you gently forward. You step onto a path of pale sand that runs beside it, and the night opens wider with each breath. The surface of the water holds the moon, the way a quiet heart holds silence, without grasping, without effort. You walk in rhythm with the current, the soft hiss of sand beneath your feet, answering the river's whisper, the world simplified to flow and listening. Willow branches lean over the bank like kind elders, combing the dark with their slender fingers. Now and then, a leaf kisses the surface and sails away, circling once, then twice, then disappearing into the open. You pause, watching the rings expand until they fade completely, a reminder that even disturbance can end as stillness, if given time. Breathe in and breathe out. The mind takes note and relaxes, trusting the water's patient example. You come to a place where stones step into the river like a humble path. You sit on the largest one and let your feet dangle above the slow drift. There is no need to cross. The night is already carrying you. In the dark mirror before you, stars tremble like lanterns floating beneath the skin of the world. Each point of light is steady, yet it wavers with the gentlest breeze, an agreement between the sky and its reflection. You rest in that agreement, the quiet pact between above and within. A soft wind opens the reeds and releases a fragrance of damp earth and green life. The sense of time loosens, becoming spacious. You notice how the current wraps around a fallen branch, skirts a small eddy, and then straightens again. No resistance, only the intelligence of yielding. The lesson arrives without words: to meet what comes, curve like water; to keep moving, soften like water; to become vast, empty like water. Breathe in and breathe out. You rise and let your fingers brush the bark of a willow. The tree gives a faint creak, a sound older than speech, and the leaves answer with a silver whisper. Fireflies begin to appear in the undergrowth, sketching slow arcs through the dark. Their glow is not a flare but a pulse, unhurried, as if they are breathing with the river. For a while, you simply follow their lights as you walk. Small stars brought down to your feet, guiding you without insistence. The path narrows and bends closer to the water until the current is only an arm's length away. You match your pace to the slipping surface, and a hush deepens inside your chest. Somewhere upstream, a nightbird calls 3 clear notes, and the sound floats over the river, lands in the reeds, and then melts into the murmur of flow. You realize the river accepts every sound, every leaf, every moonbeam, and keeps moving. Your thoughts arrive and are taken up the same way, received fully, carried gently onward. Ahead, a shallow gravel bar gleams like drifted starlight. You step onto it and listen to the faint chiming of water over tiny stones. The chiming becomes a kind of mantra, bright, continuous, impartial. You kneel to scoop a little water in your palms. It is cool and clean, and when you release it, it threads itself back into the greater body without effort, as though your hands had only borrowed a shape the river was always ready to reclaim. Breathe in and breathe out. A low wooden footbridge appears, worn smooth by years of weather and crossing. You linger at its midpoint and rest your forearms on the rail. Below, the current curves into a slow eddy, gathers, turns, and slips free again. A simple understanding settles. Nothing here hurries, nothing here delays. The water knows where it is going, and it arrives by never ceasing to begin. You let this realization pool in you, and the small places of holding soften, then release. As you leave the bridge, the river widens and the banks draw back, offering a broad, luminous reach of water. The moon opens upon it like a white blossom, floating without stem or root. A thin veil of mist rises from the surface and drifts across the path, cool as silk, fragrant with stone and night. You walk through it and feel a quiet blessing, something you cannot name settling over you like a shawl. Breathe in and breathe out. Now the path becomes a ribbon of packed earth, shaded by low, arching boughs. You move beneath them as though passing under a series of gentle gates, each one inviting you deeper into ease. Somewhere nearby, the river braids around a small island. You hear the hush split into two voices, and then rejoin as one. You smile at the sound, a reminder that separation and union are only turns in the same stream. You walk on, quiet as the moon, simple as the water, carried by what carries everything. The night deepens, and with it, the river grows more luminous, as though the stars have dissolved into its veins. You pause on a bend where the water pools wide and slow. Reeds sway at the edges, their tips brushing the surface in small arcs. Each ripple circles outward, softening into nothing, leaving only stillness once more. You kneel and listen, and the silence between ripples becomes a teaching disturbance, is never final. Breathe in and breathe out. The moon drifts higher, and its reflection stretches long and pale across the surface. You walk beside it, as if you, too, are reflected in the current, another figure, moving quietly in a parallel world. It feels as though both you and your reflection are being carried by something greater, two journeys, sharing one source. Ahead, the bank opens into a sandy shore. Smooth stones are scattered here, round and shining in the moonlight. You sit among them, their coolness grounding you. Some are large and steady, others small and delicate, yet together they shape the river's voice. Each stone, like each moment, contributes to the song. You listen until your own breath becomes part of the harmony. A memory surfaces, soft and timeless. A monk once said, "When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you." Here, in the river's embrace, you understand. The water is not yours, yet you belong entirely to its flow. Breathe in and breathe out. You rise and continue, your steps slower now, as though the earth itself wishes you to linger. The path grows narrow, brushing close to the current. Fireflies hover at shoulder height, blinking gently. Their glow is not bright enough to light the way, yet it is enough. You follow them, as one follows trust, step after step into the unknown, knowing that light reveals itself precisely when it is needed. The sound of rushing grows louder. You soon find a place where the river gathers speed over shallow rocks. It is not a roar, but a song of energy, water tumbling in laughter as it finds its way forward. You sit on the bank, watching the spray rise and dissolve in the air. Droplets catch the moonlight, becoming small diamonds for a heartbeat before vanishing. Impermanence shines here, but instead of sadness, it brings joy, each sparkle unique, each disappearance graceful. A parable unfolds in your thoughts. A student asked his master, "What happens after death?" The master pointed to the river and said, "Look, this drop. Where does it go when it joins the stream?" You smile softly, knowing the answer lies in the water before you. The river calms again as the rocks fall away. Its voice returns to a murmur, steady and soothing. You step closer to its edge, dipping your hand into the coolness. The touch is brief, yet it lingers in your skin, as though the water has left a memory behind. You let a drop fall back and watch it vanish without trace, absorbed wholly into the whole. Breathe in and breathe out. The night breeze gathers and moves through the trees. Their leaves rustle, and the sound blends with the river's hush, creating a chorus of movement. You slow your pace to match, walking in rhythm with the joined voices of water and wind. It feels as though the world itself is breathing, and you are breathing with it. The path widens again and leads you to a clearing where the river bends in a wide arc. In the center of the bend rests a small island, no more than a cluster of stones and grass. A single pine tree grows upon it, its trunk leaning gracefully toward the current. The tree is alone, yet not lonely. The river embraces it on all sides, feeding its roots, reflecting its form. You stand watching, and the pine becomes a mirror of endurance. Leaning, it remains steady. Surrounded, it remains whole. A whisper rises within you. Solitude is not absence, it is a form of belonging. The river and the tree teach this without words. You sit upon the grass of the clearing, the island, and the current before you, the moon above, the night infinite. The silence is profound, yet it is not empty. It is filled with breath, with flow, with the quiet companionship of the world. You rest in it until your body softens, your thoughts drift, and the river seems to flow not beside you, but through you. The clearing slowly fades behind you as you walk onward, the path weaving closer to the river once again. Here the current slows into a broad glass-like expanse, so calm it feels as though time itself has paused to rest. The moon drifts in its surface, whole and unbroken, surrounded by the silent glow of stars. You pause to take it in, aware of the rare gift of stillness reflected so clearly. Breathe in and breathe out. At the far edge of this wide pool, a heron stands motionless in the shallows. Its body is a statue of patience, its gaze fixed on the water below. You stand quietly, watching, and the bird seems to teach you without movement. Peace is not the absence of action but the depth of presence. When the heron finally stirs, lifting its wings in slow arcs, the air fills with a hush of grace. It rises into the night and disappears among the stars. You follow the path as it bends, lined now with smooth stones that glow faintly in the moonlight. Their arrangement feels deliberate, as though guiding your steps towards some unseen destination. Each one carries the weight of age, yet they remain steady and supportive, like teachers who ask nothing but attention. A faint sound joins the river's murmur, the trickle of a spring. You find a small streamlet joining the larger flow, bubbling up from beneath a mossy stone. Its freshness sparkles in the moonlight, and you kneel to cup it in your hands. The taste is crisp, alive, cooling your lips and throat. You pause, drinking slowly, and the spring reminds you that renewal is always near, even in silence. Breathe in and breathe out. The main river embraces the spring, carrying it forward without resistance. Watching this union, a thought arises. To join is to be transformed, and in transformation there is no loss. The small stream does not disappear, it becomes river, and the river, in turn, becomes ocean. You smile softly, feeling the lesson flow into your chest. The path leads you into a stand of poplars whose leaves shimmer silver in the breeze. Their trembling creates a sound like distant rain, soft and constant. You walk beneath them slowly, listening to the countless voices speaking as one. Their whispers carry no urgency, only continuity. You feel yourself as one leaf among many, unique, yet inseparable from the whole tree. As you emerge from the poplars, the river narrows into a swift channel between two stone outcrops. The water gathers itself and pushes through with energy, foaming around boulders, leaping in spray. You pause on the bank and feel the pulse of strength radiating from the current. It is not anger, not struggle, but sheer vitality. The river shows you that power can flow without violence, intensity without harm. A teaching surfaces. Sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes, and the grass grows by itself. You realize that power, like stillness, arises naturally when the time is right. The river does not force its surge, it simply responds to the shape of the land. You breathe with it, feeling your own energy align with this effortless strength. Breathe in and breathe out. The rocks fall away, and the river gentles once more. Its surface reflects the sky, now deep and full with stars. You walk along its bank, guided only by their light. Somewhere nearby, an owl calls, low and resonant, echoing through the valley. The sound blends with the water's murmur, another note in the night's eternal song. You come to a bend where the river curves wide and slow again, and here the bank is soft with wildflowers. Their petals glow faintly in the moonlight, pale blues, silvers, and whites. The fragrance is subtle, calming. You walk among them, brushing your fingertips gently against their blooms, each touch a blessing received and returned. At the far end of the flowered bank, you find a stone bench placed beside the river. Its surface is cool, yet inviting. You sit upon it, listening to the endless hush of flow. The sound has no beginning, no end. It is both near and far, loud and soft, filling and emptying at once. In its voice, you hear a truth beyond words. All things move, and yet all things are already still. You close your eyes, resting in that paradox, letting the river's voice carry you deeper inward. Thought drifts like petals on the current, and you watch them pass, neither clinging nor resisting. You sit on the stone bench until the coolness of the night air brushes gently against your skin, reminding you to rise. The river continues its patient song beside you, guiding your steps forward. Its presence has become your companion, steady and reassuring, like the pulse of the earth itself. The path winds into a grove of maples, their branches arched gracefully overhead. Moonlight filters through their leaves, painting the ground in shifting patterns of shadow and silver. As the breeze moves, the patterns ripple, and for a moment, it seems you are walking across the surface of water itself. Each step feels fluid, connected, timeless. Breathe in and breathe out. You follow the grove until it opens onto another stretch of riverbank, wide and flat. Here the water glides smooth and shallow, its stones visible beneath the clear surface. You step closer, kneeling to watch tiny fish dart like flickers of thought. swift yet harmless, vanishing into the dark. You smile softly, recognizing how even the restless can belong within stillness. Across the river, a single lantern glows from a post buried in the sand. Its light dances upon the current, stretching toward you, wavering, but unbroken. It reminds you of a teaching. Each of us is a lantern, carrying a flame not for ourselves, but for those who follow. The thought lingers as you imagine countless lanterns across countless nights, each one steady in its silence. The lantern's glow fades behind you as you continue along the river, the sound of flow growing quieter until it is no more than a whisper. The path curves upward, carrying you gently away from the bank. You pause once more to look back. The water stretches like a ribbon of light through the valley, endless, serene, always moving, yet always present. Breathe in and breathe out. With a final glance, you bow gently to the river, honoring its teachings of yielding, patience, and flow. Then you step onward, ready for whatever path the night unfolds before you. You follow the path until it meets the river's edge. A small wooden boat waits there, tied loosely to a post. Its wood is polished from many journeys, yet it seems weightless, eager to carry you. You step into the boat, feeling it rock gently beneath you, then steady itself. You untie the rope, and the current takes you. The boat glides forward with no need of effort, drifting smoothly across the silver water. The river whispers against the hull. You lean back, letting the movement cradle you. The stars above reflect on the water, doubling the sky. It feels as though you are floating not only upon a river, but through the universe itself. Breathe in and breathe out. The current carries you past willow trees that lean low over the water, their branches trailing like brushes, painting soft lines across the surface. Fireflies gather here as well, weaving tiny lanterns among the leaves, lighting your passage. A teaching rises in memory. The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart. You feel the truth of these words as the river flows both outside you and within, carrying you towards stillness. The boat drifts for what feels like both moments and hours, until you notice ahead a small pier stretching into the water. Lanterns burn softly along its edges, their light shimmering across the river. The boat moves gracefully toward it, as if guided. When you step onto the pier, the wood feels warm beneath your feet, as though the lanterns have been waiting for your arrival. At the end of the pier stands a gate, its frame simple yet dignified, inviting you to pass through. You bow gently before crossing, and as you step beneath the gate, the scene shifts again. The river fades, and you find yourself walking through a forest of tall cedars, their trunks straight and strong, their fragrance grounding and calm. A path winds through them, soft with needles that cushion each step. The air here is cool and pure, each breath a gift that clears the mind and refreshes the body. Breathe in and breathe out. Deeper in the forest, you come upon a clearing where a circle of stones surrounds a fire pit. No flames burn, but the stones themselves seem to glow faintly, as though remembering the warmth of many gatherings. You sit upon one, and the silence of the circle fills you. You imagine monks and travelers long ago resting here, sharing nothing but quiet presence. No words are needed. The silence itself is complete, carrying all that cannot be spoken. A story drifts into mind. Once, two monks sat by a river in silence. Hours passed before one said, "What a beautiful silence we share." The other nodded, and no more was needed. You rise again, continuing through the cedar forest. The path begins to slope downward, leading toward the sound of water once more. Soon you arrive at a waterfall, its stream cascading into a clear pool below. Moonlight strikes the falling water, turning it into silver threads. Mist rises, cooling your face, carrying the scent of stone and freshness. You kneel by the pool, watching as ripples spread outward, then vanish into stillness again. Breathe in and breathe out. The waterfall's steady song becomes the rhythm of your breath. The longer you listen, the more it feels as though you and the water are no longer separate. The stream flows through you as much as before you, cleansing thought, washing away the weight of time. When you rise, the forest greets you again, but now it feels lighter, more spacious. The trees stand like guardians, yet also like friends. The path widens, leading you toward the heart of the valley. There, beneath the stars, stands a great tree. Its trunk is wide, its branches vast, reaching outward and upward, like the arms of the universe itself. Lanterns hang from its boughs, glowing softly, their light mingling with starlight. You approach the tree and rest your hand upon its bark. The texture is rough yet grounding, steady as stone, yet alive with a pulse of energy. You lean against it, and the strength of ages flows into you. Breathe in and breathe out. The tree becomes your companion, vast and rooted. You close your eyes and feel its presence. The wind moves through its branches, creating a low, resonant hum, as though the tree itself were chanting a mantra older than memory. A whisper of teaching arrives. Sitting beneath the tree, one becomes the tree, and you understand there is no separation between you and this living being. Its roots are your roots, its branches your branches, its stillness your own. You sit at the base of the great tree, its vast canopy sheltering you from the world. The lanterns above sway softly in the night breeze, scattering golden light that mingles with the silver glow of the stars. Time seems to vanish here, replaced only by stillness and breath. Breathe in and breathe out. As your eyes close, the hum of the tree deepens, resonating within your chest like the sound of a great bell. Each vibration spreads through your body, loosening every tension, carrying you further into calm. It feels less like sound and more like a reminder that peace has always been here, waiting. When you open your eyes again, dawn is beginning to touch the horizon. The stars fade gently, the sky softens, and a pale light brushes the valley. Birds stir in the cedars, their calls simple and pure. The great tree glows in the morning light, as though welcoming the day with silent joy. You rise and continue your journey, the earth cool beneath your feet. The path winds upward now, toward the mountains. The air grows crisper, filled with the scent of stone and pine. Each breath feels lighter, each step a gentle climb toward stillness. The trail leads to a small bridge spanning a stream that tumbles down from the mountain. The water rushes over smooth stones, laughing as it falls, yet never hurried. You pause upon the bridge, leaning against its rail, and watch the current move. A memory returns. A master once poured tea into a student's cup until it overflowed. When the student cried out, the master said, "Like this cup, you are full. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty yourself?" You smile, letting the rushing stream remind you of emptiness, not loss, but space. Breathe in and breathe out. The bridge leads you higher until the trees grow thinner and the air more open. Soon you reach a plateau where a Zen garden spreads across the mountain slope. Stones of many shapes are placed with care. Patterns of sand ripple outward like frozen waves. Moss grows between them, soft and green, grounding the space in quiet harmony. You step carefully onto the garden's edge. Though no one tends it now, the garden feels alive with presence, as though unseen hands are still arranging each line, each stone. You sit upon a flat rock and gaze across the patterns. The longer you look, the less the garden appears as a garden, and the more it feels like a mirror of your mind. Some lines curve like flowing thoughts, others break abruptly, like ideas cut short. The stones stand like mountains in the sea, unshaken by the ripples around them. You realize your thoughts, too, can be allowed to rise and settle without clinging. Breathe in and breathe out. As the sun climbs higher, the garden shifts in the changing light. Shadows fall across the sand, reshaping patterns moment by moment, yet the essence remains unchanged. The garden is always whole. You close your eyes, and in the darkness behind them, you still see the garden, steady and clear. When you rise, the path continues upward, winding along the mountain ridge. Below, the valley stretches wide, green and golden in the morning sunday. The river you traveled glimmers like a thread of silver weaving through the land. You feel gratitude for every step that carried you here. The trail narrows as it climbs toward a peak. The air thins, yet your breath remains calm. The stillness of the mountain steadies you, guiding you upward with each gentle step. At last, you reach the summit. From here, the world opens in all directions. The horizon stretches endlessly, sky merging with earth. Clouds drift below you like rivers of white, and the wind sings softly, carrying the fragrance of stone, snow, and sky. You sit upon the peak, your body rooted like stone, your spirit as free as the sky. The mountain has no need to move, no need to speak, yet its silence is full. A teaching whispers in your heart. The mountains and rivers, the earth and sky all speak the Dharma. You listen, and the silence of the peak becomes the teaching itself. Breathe in and breathe out. As you rest, clouds drift closer, wrapping the peak in soft mist. The world beyond fades, leaving only you, the mountain, and the breath. In this moment, there is nothing to seek, nothing to reach. All is already complete. Time dissolves. The sun arcs across the sky, unseen behind the mist. Day fades toward twilight. You feel no urge to move, only to be. And then, softly, the mist parts. The sun sets upon the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson. The light spills across the valley below, turning rivers to fire and mountains to shadow. The beauty is vast, yet quiet, asking nothing of you but presence. You bow gently to the setting sun, honoring the gift of this moment. As darkness returns, the stars awaken once more, brighter now in the clear mountain air. You lie back upon the stone, gazing upward. The night sky stretches endless above, vast and serene. Breathe in and breathe out. The stars seem to pulse with your breath, shining brighter with each inhale, softening with each exhale. Slowly, you feel yourself dissolve into that vastness, your body no longer separate from the night, your mind no longer bound by thought. You are the mountain, the sky, the stars. You are the stillness itself. The stars stretch endlessly above, yet as your eyes grow heavier, the night begins to change. You feel yourself floating, no longer bound to the mountain peak. The stone beneath you becomes cloud, soft and luminous, and the sky itself carries you forward. You drift through the night air, weightless, as though borne on invisible wings. The clouds part and reveal a valley below, lit softly by moonlight. The valley shimmers like a bowl of silver, filled with streams, forests, and fields glowing in peace. As you descend, you find yourself standing on a narrow bridge of light, stretching between two ridges. Beneath it flows not water but starlight, cascading in endless rivers. Each star glimmers as it passes, carrying the memory of countless ages. Breathe in and breathe out. You walk across the bridge slowly. The starlight below hums like 1,000 voices whispering in unison, yet their whispers bring no burden, only calm, reminding you of the vastness of all things. Each step feels like a journey across eternity, and yet you are perfectly still. The path draws away from the river into a corridor of low arches formed by intertwined branches. The air cools, touched with a scent of damp stone and moss. As you pass beneath the living archway, the night opens onto a hidden garden, lantern lit and quiet as snowfall. The lanterns are few and far between. Their halos are small and steady, leaving generous spaces of darkness in which the stars can breathe. You pause at the threshold, feeling the hush settle around your shoulders like a shawl. A stone bridge crosses a narrow stream, its back arched like a cat in the moonlight. You place your foot on the first slab, cool, slightly damp, and then the next, moving with the pace of the water beneath you. Koi glide in the shallow current, pale as commas written into the night, turning and vanishing with unhurried grace. The surface folds and smooths after each passing fin, a tapestry forever woven and rewoven. Breathe in and breathe out. Beyond the bridge, a path of flat stones winds through raked sand. The sand holds patterns like wind-traced dunes, long lines that suggest the sea, circles around stones that suggest islands. Someone tended this place with quiet hands, but there is no need to know when. The lines remain clear, even with leaves scattered across them, as if to say that the pattern welcomes the fall. You bend and lift a single leaf, red as a resting ember, then let it drift back, content to belong where it has landed. A small pavilion waits beneath a maple, its roof curved gently as a smile. Inside, a low table hosts a simple teapot and 2 cups, glazed a soft celadon. There is no host, and yet the invitation is unmistakable. You sit upon a cushion, pour slowly, watch steam curl upward and loosen into the night. When you lift the cup, its warmth presses into your palms, spreading through your chest in quiet circles. A thought floats to the surface and dissolves. Move slowly enough, and the world reveals its rhythm. Breathe in and breathe out. From somewhere behind the pavilion, a bamboo fountain tips and falls, the soft knock of wood on stone, marking time without urgency. Between knocks, water collects and gathers, patient as breath. You listen to the gathering, to the tipping, to the moment after the cleanest silence. In that pause, a teaching arrives without words. Fullness, release, return. Fullness, release, return. The body remembers and lets go a little more. A lantern path leads deeper into the garden, into darker green. You follow until the ground dips and the air grows cooler. There, in a hollow, sits a weathered statue of a seated figure, not grand, not imposing, but ordinary in the way the moon is ordinary, always there, needing no announcement. Moss has taken root along the base, softening every edge, and a few petals have gathered in the figure's hands, as if offered by chance and accepted without ceremony. You bow, not from duty, but because bowing happens by itself. A parable unfolds, gentle as light on water. A traveller once crossed a night mountain with a lantern lit. "Why the lantern?" a companion asked. "You can see the path." The traveller smiled and said, It's for those behind me. You stand in the lantern glow and feel the meaning ripple outward. The garden seems to have been tended by such travelers, quiet keepers of the way, who leave just enough light for others. Something within you brightens, not with heat, but with steadiness. You arrive at a pond ringed by stones, larger than the stream yet still intimate. The water is smooth enough to hold the moon, and the moon allows itself to be held. A breeze skims the surface, and the reflection trembles without breaking. You sit upon a flat stone, worn to a satin sheen by countless nights like this one. The coolness of the stone meets the warmth of your body, and balance happens on its own. Breathe in and breathe out. Beside the pond, a single wind chime hangs from the eave of a tiny gate. It does not ring at first. Then, the faintest draft passes, and the chime gives a single note, pure and small, a bell made of moonlight. The note lingers, trailing a silence even more complete. You realize how much of the garden is a framework for listening, and how much of listening is simply stepping aside. The koi send a ribbon of ripples toward the stone, and when they reach you, their circles are so thin they are almost made of absence. You walk on, turning down a corridor of tall hedges where shadow alternates with lantern light in patient intervals. The hedges open into a courtyard where a scroll hangs from a wooden beam. The brushwork is simple, a single stroke that begins bold, grows slender, then vanishes. You stand with it until your breath unconsciously matches its journey, arriving, softening, released. You do not need to understand the character. The ink understands you. Breathe in and breathe out. At the far side of the courtyard, a narrow door stands ajar. Through it lies a pocket garden you might have missed if not for the way the night seemed to lean toward it. Inside, the earth is bare, just a single stone resting in the center, round and unremarkable. Its presence is a whisper that somehow fills the whole space. You stand and feel how the room arranges itself around the stone, how your attention arranges itself around the quiet. There is nothing to add, and so, for a long moment, you add nothing. You linger in the bare garden until the quiet becomes its own fragrance, subtle but unmistakable. The single stone glows faintly in the moonlight, no more than itself, yet sufficient. When at last you step back through the narrow door, you carry the simplicity with you, like a cup filled to the brim with stillness. The path bends beside a row of lanterns hung low, their light brushing the moss in golden patches. Between each lantern lies a pocket of shadow, cool and inviting. You find yourself slowing to appreciate the rhythm of light and dark, presence and absence, as if the garden were teaching balance not with words but with contrast. Breathe in and breathe out. You follow the lanterns to a wooden gate carved with a lotus motif. Beyond it is another pond, smaller, bordered by stepping stones that curve around its edge. In the water, koi swim in pairs, their movements deliberate yet fluid. They circle each other in wide arcs, sometimes crossing, sometimes drifting apart, but always returning. You watch them until you sense a lesson in their patterns. Harmony does not mean sameness. It means meeting and parting without losing connection. A breeze stirs the surface, and the reflection of the moon fractures into 100 smaller moons. The koi weave through them, scattering the light into countless fragments. Yet even broken, the moon remains whole. You smile, realizing that stillness can survive disturbance, just as peace can survive motion. On the far side of the pond, a narrow bridge of stone slabs leads toward a shaded alcove. You cross slowly, pausing to watch how each slab has been placed with care, some tilted slightly, others balanced in quiet defiance of time. Each step becomes an act of trust, a bow to those who shaped the path long ago. In the alcove stands a tall stone lantern, its top weathered by centuries of rain. A faint flame glows inside, steady against the night breeze. You kneel beside it, feeling its warmth on your face. The flame is small, yet it lights the space enough to dissolve the darkness. A memory arises. A single candle can light 1,000 others without losing itself. The lantern embodies this truth without explanation. Breathe in and breathe out. From the alcove, a set of stepping stones leads deeper into the garden. You follow, your feet brushing against moss that cushions each step. The stones guide you to a clearing where a low bench rests beneath a maple tree. Its branches arch over you like a shelter, and the leaves whisper in the breeze. You sit, letting your gaze drift upward through the canopy to the stars above. The stars appear scattered, yet you realize they form a harmony too vast to see in a single glance. The garden's silence draws out another parable. A monk once carried a heavy bucket of water up a mountain. When asked why he did not use a pole to ease the load, he answered, "This way, the weight teaches me to walk carefully." You reflect on this story, and the bench beneath you feels steadier, and the air more grounded. Even weight can be a teacher if carried with attention. You rise again, following a winding path lined with low shrubs, fragrant with night blossoms. Their scent is subtle, almost hidden, but it greets you like an old friend with each step. The shrubs lead to a circular courtyard paved with stones arranged in a spiral. At its center is a basin filled with water. A bamboo ladle rests across it, waiting. You kneel, lift the ladle, and pour water over your hands. The coolness refreshes you, cleansing not only your skin, but also your mind. The water falls back into the basin with a single note, resonant and clear. Breathe in and breathe out. The spiral of stones around the basin seems to draw your thoughts inward. You follow the pattern with your eyes until your breath and your heartbeat slow to match it. The spiral does not end, it only turns deeper. In that recognition, you feel yourself turning inward as well, into a stillness beyond stillness. At the edge of the courtyard, a small pavilion opens on 3 sides to the night. You step inside and find cushions laid along the floor. You sit, gazing out at the lanterns scattered through the garden. Some burn brightly, some have nearly faded, yet together they weave a constellation of their own across the ground. The thought comes, each light has its time, each flame teaches in its way. The night deepens, and the garden feels timeless, as though it has always waited for this moment. You breathe gently, allowing its lessons to settle, like dew on your heart. The pavilion releases you back to the winding paths, where stone lanterns flicker softly at measured intervals. The light pools upon the ground, creating stepping places of gold between stretches of shadow. You notice how natural it feels to move from light into dark, and from dark into light again, each one giving meaning to the other. Breathe in and breathe out. The path narrows into a corridor framed by bamboo stalks. Their tall green bodies creak gently as the night wind passes, and the leaves above murmur like rainfall. You slow your pace, walking as though you, too, are a stalk among stalks, swaying with what comes, returning to stillness with what goes. The bamboo does not resist the wind. It bends, and in bending, it remains strong. Emerging from the bamboo, you discover a quiet courtyard with a low stone well at its center. The rope and bucket rest unused, yet the well's surface glimmers faintly in the lantern light. You step closer and gaze downward. The water mirrors your face, calm and unbroken, and behind it, the faint reflection of the stars. For a moment, you see yourself as part of that constellation, both grounded and infinite. A teaching arises. When the mind is clear, the moon is seen in the water. You lower the bucket gently, hearing it strike the water with a soft plash. Pulling it back up, you take a sip. The water is cool, almost sweet, as though drawn from the roots of the night itself. Each swallow brings a greater calm, washing thought away until only silence remains. You bow to the well before continuing. The garden leads you into a grove of plum trees. Their blossoms have long since fallen, but their fragrance lingers in the bark, faint yet persistent. You rest beneath one, leaning against its trunk. The rough surface steadies you, and you feel the tree's patience as your own. A parable drifts into memory. A monk once asked his master how to find enlightenment. The master replied, "Do you hear the stream outside?" The monk nodded. "There," the master said. You smile at the simplicity, recognizing the truth in what surrounds you now. Breathe in and breathe out. The grove opens onto a moonlit pond, smaller than the others, almost hidden among the trees. A stone lantern rests on its far bank, its flame steady despite the breeze. You cross on stepping stones, pausing midway to watch the water ripple around your feet. The ripples reach outward until they vanish into stillness again, the pond returning to its perfect mirror. You feel your thoughts ripple in the same way, arising, spreading, fading, gone. At the lantern, you kneel and cup your hands around its warmth. The flame is not large, yet it gives comfort, just as a kind word or a single smile can warm the heart. You remember another saying, "A single candle lights 1,000 others," yet its flame is not diminished. In the lantern's glow, you sense the quiet truth of generosity. The path carries you onward to a shaded terrace overlooking the garden. From here, the entire space opens before you. Bridges, ponds, pavilions, lanterns, all placed with such care that they feel inevitable, as though the garden had always existed in this form. Looking out, you feel a vast gratitude, not for what is extraordinary, but for what is simple, ordinary, and complete. Breathe in and breathe out. The terrace offers a cushion, worn from many nights of use. You sit upon it and allow your eyes to half close. The lanterns blur into soft circles of gold. The ponds shimmer faintly, and the garden seems to breathe with you. In the silence, you hear what cannot be spoken, the teaching of place, of presence, of being here and nowhere else. The night continues, timeless. You rest in the garden's embrace, its parables woven not of words but of stone, water, flame, and air. Each part whispers what you already know. There is nothing to reach for and nowhere to go. From the terrace, you descend a set of shallow steps bordered by moss, the stone edges rounded by time and weather. The garden receives your weight without complaint. A narrow path leads you beneath an arbor of wisteria. Its vines hang like soft curtains, and their pale blossoms hold a fragrance that lingers at the edge of memory. As you pass through, a strand brushes your shoulder, as gentle as a blessing. You emerge feeling lighter, as though you have set something down without noticing. Beyond the arbor, a raked court opens, patterned in wide, flowing lines around 3 upright stones. Their forms are plain, one tall, one medium, one small, yet together they feel like a family in quiet conversation. You walk the perimeter slowly, letting each angle of the arrangement teach a different view. From one vantage, they resemble mountains. From another, travelers. From another still, only stone. The simplicity settles you. The more you look, the less there is to add. Breathe in and breathe out. A low wooden gate waits at the far edge of the court. Its hinges give a soft sigh as you pass through, and the garden narrows to a whisper, a single flagstone path between hedges, trimmed level as a horizon. At the path's end is a square of open earth, empty but for a shallow dish filled with clear water. The sky gathers in the dish without effort, clouds if there are clouds, stars if there are stars. You kneel and watch how the surface accepts everything and keeps nothing. You lift the dish a fraction, tilting it toward the darkness. The reflected lantern beyond unthreads into a filament of gold, then reforms when you set it down. You understand, without the need for speech, how attention shapes the world it reflects. A parable brushes your thoughts and passes like a breeze. A master shows a student the moon by pointing to the water, and the student learns to look both up and down, both inward and outward, with the same soft gaze. Past the square, the hedges open into a final pocket of green. Here stands a young maple, planted beside an old stump, new life leaning, companionably against what has finished its work. The pairing is unremarkable and perfect. A lantern at ground level casts their shadows long and side by side. You linger, feeling how the garden tends not only beauty, but continuity, how endings and beginnings share a root you can almost touch. Breathe in and breathe out. A last path curves toward a modest gate that returns you to the world beyond. Before you leave, you turn back. The garden looks as though it has not moved at all, yet it is not the same garden you entered, because you are not the same traveler. Somewhere a bamboo fountain tips and knocks. Somewhere a chime gives a single note. Somewhere a koi parts the moon and lets it close again. You bow not to the stones, or the lanterns, or the water, but to the quiet that binds them. You step through the gate. The night air meets you cool and kind, and the path ahead waits without impatience. The lessons of the hidden garden travel with you, light as lantern glow. Move slowly enough to feel the rhythm. Yield the way water yields. Be a flame that does not hurry to be seen. Let presence do the speaking. You walk on, and the world widens, gentle as breath, ready for the next ascent. On the far side of the bridge stands a garden unlike any other. Its ground is covered in moss that glows faintly, like moonlight captured in green. Small streams wind through it, their water shining as if infused with stars. Stones rise like islands, each one radiating quiet strength. In the center is a pond, perfectly round, reflecting the entire sky above. You kneel at its edge and gaze into its depths. The reflection shows not only the stars but your own face, softened and serene, as though already half asleep. A teaching arises in your memory. When the mind is clear, the moon is seen in the water. You realize that the pond does not hold the moon, it only reflects it, and so the mind does not hold truth, but mirrors it when still. Breathe in and breathe out. The water ripples gently as a breeze passes. Your reflection wavers, then steadies again. In this dance of change and return, you feel the gentle lesson of impermanence. Nothing is fixed, yet nothing is truly lost. You rise and walk deeper into the luminous garden. Lanterns float above the moss, not hanging from posts, but drifting as though borne by air alone. They move slowly, their golden glow swaying in rhythm with your steps. You follow them until the garden opens into a courtyard, surrounded by silent wooden halls. A low gong sounds somewhere within, resonating through the stillness. The sound lingers long after it fades, like a stone dropped into an endless pool. You sit in the courtyard and close your eyes. The sound of the gong continues to echo inside you, each wave calming the body, each vibration loosening the last threads of thought. Breathe in and breathe out. After a while, Your eyes open again, and you see a monk sweeping the courtyard with a simple broom. His movements are slow, steady, unhurried. Each stroke of the broom is a meditation, each sweep both clearing and resting. You watch in silence, and he looks up briefly, offering only a gentle smile before continuing. A teaching forms in your heart. Work done with mindfulness is not labor, but peace. Sweeping becomes resting. Breathing becomes prayer. Watching, you feel the stillness of the task as though it were your own. The courtyard fades as you continue your journey. You find yourself now walking through a forest lit only by fireflies. Their lights flicker in patterns, like words written in the air, though no language can capture them. You follow their dance, and it carries you to the edge of a meadow. In the center of the meadow flows a stream that curves like a ribbon of light. Across it is a simple wooden plank, forming a bridge. As you cross, the water glows beneath you, shimmering with colors that shift and change. Blue, gold, violet, silver, like the hues of dawn and dusk woven together. You pause upon the bridge, resting your hand upon its rail. The stream murmurs below, and you feel as though it speaks directly to you. Its words are not sounds, but feelings. Rest, release, return. Breathe in and breathe out. The meadow opens wider beyond the stream, revealing a circle of standing stones. Each one rises tall, etched with lines that glow faintly in the starlight. They form a ring, as though guarding the space within. You step into the circle, and the air grows stiller, deeper, more resonant. Standing within the stones, you feel as though you have entered the heart of silence itself. The world beyond falls away. Only your breath remains, steady and quiet, echoing in the vastness. A parable arises. A monk once asked his master, "What is the essence of Zen?" The master lifted a finger to his lips and smiled. In that silence, the teaching was complete. You sit within the circle of stones, letting their stillness hold you. The night deepens, and the stars above turn slowly, their patterns shifting across the sky. You drift into the rhythm of their movement, timeless and vast. Breathe in and breathe out. The stones seem to hum faintly, their silence deeper than sound. The meadow itself feels alive, the grass bowing with the night breeze, the earth steady beneath you. You close your eyes, and the circle becomes a cradle, carrying you gently toward dream. The circle of stones holds you gently, as though the earth itself has drawn its arms around you. The silence deepens, soft and endless, and your body grows heavier with every breath. Breathe in and breathe out. When your eyes open again, the stones have faded, and you find yourself beside a vast lake. Its surface is perfectly still, a mirror of the night sky. The moon rests in its center, doubled and luminous, as though the heavens themselves had descended to rest upon the water. You walk to the edge of the lake, where reeds whisper softly in the night wind. Their sound is gentle, like 1,000 brushes stroking the air in unison. The water laps quietly against the shore, the faintest of ripples disturbing its surface, only to smooth again into perfect calm. You kneel and touch the water. It is cool, refreshing, and clear. The ripples widen, sending the reflection of the moon shimmering outward. You watch until it steadies again, and the moon returns to its perfect roundness. A teaching arises. The mind is like water. When it is calm, it reflects everything clearly. You feel this deeply, not as words, but as truth. The lake before you is your own mind, vast, still, and clear. Breathe in and breathe out. As you rest by the lake, a small boat drifts silently toward you, guided by nothing you can see. It arrives at the shore without sound. You step into it, and the boat begins to move gently across the water. No oars, no sail, only the quiet rhythm of drifting. The lake carries you toward its center, where the reflection of the moon glows brightest. The silence deepens, broken only by the soft lap of water against the boat. You gaze upward, and the sky seems to open wider, stars scattering like blossoms in spring. The boat slows and stops, resting in the middle of the lake. You lie back within it, and the world turns into reflection. Above you, stars. Beneath you, stars. You float between two skies, endless and serene. Time dissolves. Breath becomes the only anchor, steady and slow. Breathe in and breathe out. After a while, the boat carries you to the far shore. There, a lantern glows softly beside a wooden dock. You step onto it, the planks smooth and cool beneath your feet. A path leads away into a grove of flowering trees. The blossoms are pale and luminous, glowing faintly in the night. Their fragrance is subtle, sweet, but not heavy, like a memory of spring carried on the wind. Petals fall as you walk, drifting through the air and landing gently on your shoulders, your hands, the path beneath you. The trees open to reveal a small hermitage, its walls simple wood, its roof of thatch. Smoke curls from its chimney, and the warm glow of a lantern shines through the doorway. You step inside. The room is quiet. A low table rests in the center, with a pot of tea steaming gently upon it. Cushions surround the table. You sit, and the fragrance of the tea rises, earthy and calming. You pour a cup, watching the steam curl upward, disappearing into the air. A teaching whispers, "Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the whole earth revolves." You sip, and the warmth spreads through your chest, your arms, your breath. For this moment, there is nothing but tea. Breathe in and breathe out. The hermitage grows warmer, softer, as though the walls themselves exhale. The fire in the hearth crackles gently, its light flickering across the wooden beams. You lie back upon a cushion, and the warmth surrounds you. Your eyelids grow heavy. The crackle of fire, the faint rustle of blossoms outside, the slow rhythm of your breath all blend into one seamless lullaby. The room fades, the hermitage dissolves, and you are carried once more into dream. Now you walk a mountain path beneath a sky filled with drifting lanterns. They float upwards slowly, their glow golden and pure, like stars born from human hands. You reach out, and one drifts close enough to touch. Its paper is delicate, its warmth steady. You release it again, watching it rise higher into the night. A parable stirs in your memory. A monk lit a lantern and set it afloat upon a river. When asked why, he replied, "To remind myself that light belongs not to me, but to the world." You watch the lanterns rise, and you feel the truth of this teaching. Breathe in and breathe out. The path beyond the garden begins to rise, first gently, then with more intention. Stones embedded in the earth form rough steps, uneven but welcoming. You place your feet carefully, each step a bow to the patience of the mountain. The air changes as you climb cooler, thinner, tinged with the scent of cedar and pine. Breathe in and breathe out. Soon the forest thickens around you. Cedars rise straight as pillars, their trunks wide and furrowed with age. The canopy is high, yet the undergrowth is sparse, leaving the ground open and hushed. The forest floor is cushioned with fallen needles, soft beneath your steps. A single ray of moonlight pierces the branches, illuminating the path ahead like a lantern laid upon the earth. You pause beside one of the great cedars and rest your hand upon its bark. Its surface is rough, ridged with years, yet warm with life. You lean against it, and for a moment you feel rooted, steady, as though your breath rises and falls with the breath of the tree. A teaching whispers, strength does not mean resisting the wind, it means standing with it for centuries. The path winds upward in switchbacks, the climb steady, but not hurried. Each turn reveals a new vista. First a glimpse of the valley below, glimmering with the faint reflection of the river, then a rise where the wind gathers, carrying with it the crisp fragrance of stone and snow from higher ground. You pause often, not from fatigue, but from reverence. Each pause feels like part of the ascent itself. A small shrine appears beside the path, tucked between boulders. Its wooden frame is weathered, its offering bowl empty, yet it radiates presence. You bow instinctively, not because someone is watching, but because the moment itself asks for stillness. As you rise, the silence feels deeper, as though the mountain has accepted your gesture. Breathe in and breathe out. The trail narrows, and stones crunch beneath your steps. Somewhere above, a nightbird calls, the sound echoing through the trees. You follow it upward, and soon the forest thins. The cedars give way to twisted pines, their silhouettes stark against the stars. The ground grows rockier, the air cooler still. At last, you crest a ridge. Spread before you is a high plateau, its surface open to the sky. In the center stands a modest hermitage, its roof of thatch, its walls of wood darkened by weather. Smoke curls gently from a chimney, carrying with it the scent of pine and ash. The site is simple, unadorned, and yet it feels like a promise fulfilled. You approach the hermitage slowly, your steps soft. The wooden door stands slightly ajar, as though inviting without insistence. You pause on the threshold, listening. From within comes the faint crackle of a fire, steady and warm. Stepping inside, you find a single room lit by lantern glow. Tatami mats cover the floor. In one corner, a kettle hangs above the fire, steam curling upward in lazy spirals. A low table sits nearby, with cups and a teapot waiting. The space is humble, yet complete, every object purposeful, nothing excessive. You kneel at the table and pour the tea. The liquid is pale green, its aroma grassy, earthy, calming. You lift the cup slowly, watching the steam rise into the air, dissolve, and vanish. Each breath you take carries the fragrance deeper into your chest. The first sip warms you, not just in your mouth, but throughout your whole body, as though you are drinking the night itself. A teaching comes gently to mind. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world revolves. You sip again, slower this time, and the room seems to expand around you. The walls, the fire, the kettle, the night beyond all turn together on the quiet center of this single act. You set the cup down and listen. The fire pops softly, a log shifting in its bed of ash. The kettle sighs with steam. Outside, the wind brushes against the walls, but inside, the silence holds steady. You realize that this hermitage is not just a shelter, it is an echo of your own heart, stripped of clutter, warmed by presence, emptied of everything but enough. Breathe in and breathe out. You pour a second cup of tea, not for need, but for gratitude. The steam rises again, and you watch it curl upward, then disappear. The vanishing does not feel like loss, but like release. You sip, and with each swallow, the mountain night softens further. drawing you into its embrace. The second cup rests warm between your palms. You hold it without hurry, feeling its heat seep slowly into your fingers, then into your wrists, then into the quiet spaces of your chest. Steam ghosts the air and vanishes, and you realize how the tea teaches without speaking. Rise, become fragrance, disappear into what you already are. You take a small sip and let it linger on your tongue. Bitterness softens into sweetness. Warmth becomes calm. Calm becomes space. The walls breathe with you. The night breathes with you. Breathe in and breathe out. You set the cup down and shift closer to the hearth. The fire's glow folds gently across the tatami, turning straw to honey. As a log settles, sparks ride upward like brief stars and then surrender to the dark. The kettle exhalations keep time quiet, sighs that mark no hours, only presence. You watch until watching becomes the same as resting, and resting becomes the same as arriving. Somewhere far below the plateau, a river must be moving through shadow. Up here, the glow is its own kind of water, pooling and lapping at the edges of your awareness. On a low shelf rests a single brush and a few sheets of paper, thick and fibrous. You lift the brush, its handle worn smooth by patient hands, and feel the weight of it, the promise of ink and emptiness. You do not open the inkstone. Instead, you return the brush to its place and sit facing the blank paper. The mind itches to write. The hands choose to be still. In the white, you begin to notice shapes that are not drawn. The breath's arc, the pulse's soft drum, the way warm air gathers and cool air falls. The unwritten teaches you to leave room. A koan arrives, as if carried by the draft beneath the door. Before the first thought, who are you? It carries no edge, only invitation. You do not chase it. You let it settle like ash in the grate, fine and persistent, a quiet that coats everything evenly. Sitting grows wider, the floorboards creak, joining the practice without apology. The kettle murmurs, continuing the practice without effort. The question continues by not continuing at all. Breathe in and breathe out. You rise and slide the door halfway open. Night enters with a cool palm, touching your face, your neck. The plateau is a field of silver grasses, bending in unison. Above them, the sky has gathered its scattered lights into what looks, from here, like a single, slow heartbeat. You step onto the threshold and stand with the mountain air moving through you. The hermitage behind you feels like the soft underside of a wave, the sky before you like the crest. Nothing breaks, everything turns. When you return inside, you light a smaller lantern and place it near the far wall. Its circle of radiance meets the first lantern's circle midway, creating a narrow band of overlap, two flames agreeing on a shared horizon. You sit within that overlap and feel how companionship can be so quiet, it becomes a kind of spaciousness, unforced. A memory surfaces, a teacher sweeping a courtyard at dawn, straw bristles whispering against stone. No speech, only the complete sentence of motion. The body remembers and loosens. You let your spine lengthen and your shoulders fall. Hands rest one in the other. The eyes half close. The breath settles without being told. In this room, each exhale seems to travel farther than the last, out through the paper screens, across the grasses, over the cliff's edge, into the bowl of the sky, returning as inhale without intervals or borders. You notice how the mind tries to look for a center and how the mountain politely declines to offer one. The refusal is kindness. The center is wherever you are. Breathe in and breathe out. After some time, minutes, hours, none the kettle's voice changes pitch, a gentle cue. You pour a third cup, not out of need, but ceremony. The cup is warm. The steam rises like a vow offered and released. You drink it as if it were rain returning to the sea. The room answers by getting even simpler. Fire, kettle, straw, breath. The thought passes that nothing is missing, and with it, the need to think at all thins like mist in sunlight. You place the cup down with care. The small sound, a bell that needs no metal. You spread a woven mat near the hearth and lie on your side, knees loosely bent, one hand beneath your cheek, the other resting where breath enters and leaves. The tatami holds you the way a shoreline holds the trace of a wave briefly, completely, without possession. The embers glow low and steady. Beyond the walls, grasses hush and hush again. If there is a prayer here, it is only this: to be warmed when warmth comes, to be cooled when night opens, to rise or to sleep with the mountain's own unhurried mind. Breathe in and breathe out. The embers in the hearth glow like a constellation folded close to the floor. You watch them dim and flare, a slow pulse that seems to match your own. The mountain night outside deepens, yet within the hermitage there is only warmth and stillness. The tatami beneath you holds steady, firm, yet forgiving. The body feels less like weight and more like part of the earth itself, resting where it has always belonged. A faint breeze stirs, slipping through the wooden seams. The lantern flame bends, then steadies again, as if bowing to the air and returning to itself. You study the flame and notice how it teaches resilience. It yields, it flickers, but it does not vanish. The lesson feels simple and complete. You rise from the mat and slide the door open, a hand's width. Cold air greets you, carrying the resinous scent of pine. Beyond the threshold, the plateau is silvered by moonlight. Grass leans in slow waves, answering the wind in perfect rhythm. You step outside barefoot and feel the ground's cool firmness rise to meet you. The stars are brighter here, untouched by smoke or cloud. They seem to hang lower, closer, as if the mountain has invited them to draw near. You tilt your head back and let your gaze scatter among them. Some shine fierce and steady, others faint, almost imperceptible, yet each belongs. You sense your breath joining their quiet company, another rhythm in the sky's uncountable rhythms. Breathe in and breathe out. A path of worn stones leads away from the hermitage and climbs a small rise. You follow it, each step deliberate, the soles of your feet brushing against the cool earth. At the top stands a solitary pine, its branches spread wide, shaped by decades of mountain winds. You rest your hand against its bark. The tree is both weathered and enduring, rooted in silence deeper than any word. For a moment, you feel its patience flow into your body. The wind sighs through its needles, creating a low, endless chant. You listen until the chant becomes your own breath, steady and continuous. A teaching comes softly. Even in stillness, movement is present. Even in movement, stillness remains. You stand in agreement, neither resisting nor seeking, only present. When you return to the hermitage, the door welcomes you with a gentle creak. Inside, the fire has burned lower, the kettle now quiet. You pour the last of the tea into a cup, the liquid cool but refreshing. Its taste is lighter, almost like spring water, as if the mountain itself has filtered it into purity. You drink, then set the cup down, feeling the circle of the night nearly complete. On the wall hangs a scroll, its ink faded but still alive. A single character fills the space with graceful strokes. You do not know its meaning, yet you feel it clearly. It is not meant to be solved, but to be lived. You bow lightly to it, honoring the presence of what cannot be explained. The mat by the hearth calls you back. You lie down again, curling into the warmth of the straw. The mountain air flows through the cracks, cool and steady, while the fire gives its final glow. Between them, you find balance, warmth and coolness, weight and lightness, silence and sound. Breathe in and breathe out. The night thickens, but within it, a gentleness spreads. Your body softens. Thoughts fade. The hermitage holds you, like the mountain holds the stone, like the river holds the moon. You feel no urgency to sleep, and yet sleep drifts closer, a companion who arrives without footsteps. The embers sigh one last time before slipping into ash. The room dims, lit only by the lantern's steady glow. You rise and lift it carefully, stepping outside into the mountain night. The air greets you cool and sharp, yet not unkind. The plateau stretches wide, grasses bending in silver tides. Above, the stars scatter across the sky like seeds on fertile ground. You walk slowly along a ridge where stones mark the edge of the cliff. The drop is sheer, but the view is endless valleys folding into distance, rivers glimmering like threads of light, forests pooled in shadow. The vastness does not overwhelm, it welcomes. You breathe deeply and feel as if the horizon itself is filling your lungs. Breathe in and breathe out. At a bend in the ridge, you discover a bell suspended beneath a wooden frame. Its bronze surface is dulled by age, yet the carvings upon it remain distinct: waves, clouds, and a circle of stars. You rest your hand against its cool metal, then gently strike it with the padded mallet that hangs nearby. The sound rises deep and resonant, rolling outward across the valley, across the mountain, into the sky. The note lingers, fading only after long moments into silence, and in the silence, the teaching becomes clear. The sound is the bell, but the silence after is also the bell. You close your eyes and stand with that silence, feeling it vibrate through your bones. You return along the ridge, lantern in hand, until you find a small bench carved from a fallen log. You sit, setting the lantern beside you, and watch as the stars brighten further, filling the sky with endless light. They seem alive, each one flickering like a flame that has burned for centuries. Their stillness is not absence of motion, but motion too vast to see. You rest in that scale, small and infinite, all at once. A parable arises unbidden. A student asked, "What is the universe?" The master answered, "A single lantern in the dark." You look at your lantern, glowing gently on the bench, and you understand. The wind brushes across the plateau, cool, and carrying the scent of stone. It moves through your hair, across your face, through your chest. You let it pass without resistance. The mountain does not keep the wind, nor does it push it away. It simply receives. You allow the same breath and wind as one continuous movement. Breathe in and breathe out. When at last you return to the hermitage, the room greets you like an old friend. You set the lantern down, close the door, and lie once more upon the mat. The silence inside is rich now, woven with bell sound, wind song, and starlight. You curl gently onto your side, hands resting where breath enters and leaves. The mountain holds you in its stillness. The hermitage shelters you in its quiet. Sleep begins to gather like mist from the valley, rising around you, softening every edge. There is nothing to reach for, nothing to leave undone, only rest. Only the presence of the mountain, infinite and kind. The lanterns rise higher until they vanish into the sky, leaving only starlight above. You continue along the mountain path, but it no longer feels like a path of stone. It feels like a thread of light, suspended in the night, carrying you forward with every breath. The air is cool, yet gentle. Each inhale refreshes you. Each exhale releases what is heavy. Your body feels lighter now, almost transparent, as though you are walking not upon the earth, but upon the rhythm of your own breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Soon, the path opens into a vast plain beneath the stars. The grass here is soft and silver, glowing faintly with the touch of moonlight. It stretches endlessly, rolling like waves in the wind. You walk through it slowly, the blades brushing against your legs with a sound like quiet rain. Dawn hesitates at the lip of the world, a pale suggestion behind the mountains, while the room remains a harbor of hush. You wake without effort, as if lifted by the same tide that moved through the night. The tatami yields as you sit, the straw faintly warm where your body rested. For a moment, you do nothing but listen, a soft crack in the cooling hearth, the far-off hush of grasses, the mountain's breath held between stars and light. You rise and slide the door open. The air is cold and clean, a draught of clarity. The plateau is a sea of dim silver, and the sky carries the thinnest wash of blue. At the threshold, you bow not to a person, not to a rule, but to the simple fact of mourning. The bow straightens itself without your help, and you step into the world that has always been here. Breathe in and breathe out. You walk to the pine you touched in the night. Its trunk is darker now, its needles inked against the paling sky. You rest your palm on the bark, greeting it again. In the light that has not quite arrived, the mountain feels like a promise kept. What was held in darkness is offered without insistence. The pine says nothing. Its silence returns you to quiet that does not depend on circumstance. Returning to the hermitage, you light a small flame and set water to heat. The kettle begins again, its gentle speech, a language of patient rising. You measure tea with a care that has nothing to do with precision and everything to do with presence. Steam lifts, you pour. The cup holds its small weather of warmth and fragrance. The first sip opens a door inside your chest you hadn't noticed was closed. A simple cloth hangs near the door. You take it outside and sweep the threshold straw against wood, a soft rhythm that seems to tidy more than dust. The sweep draws a circle you cannot see, but can feel, from foot to hand, from breath to world, from world to breath. A teaching surfaces without words. Work is not what you do to the place, it is how you join it. When the threshold is clear, so is the mind that crossed it. Breathe in and breathe out. You gather a few fallen twigs beneath the eaves, dry, resin-sweet, slender as old thoughts, and lay them by the hearth for the next visitor you may never meet. The gesture is small, almost invisible, and therefore perfectly sized. The mountain accepts it, the way the ocean accepts a single drop, by being itself, without comment. You feel the ease of giving without audience, and the ease feels like a path that was always underfoot. When the kettle stills, you pour a second cup and carry it to the ridge. The sky is brighter now, the east opening like an eyelid. You sit on the same bench where starlight kept you company, and you watch light touch the farthest snow, then run down the spine of the mountains like water. A bell might ring somewhere below, or it might be the wind finding a hollow in the stones. Either sound would be true. You drink, and the world drinks with you. A memory turns like a leaf. A teacher once said, when you sweep, just sweep. You consider how the night swept through the plateau, how dawn sweeps through the sky. Neither hurries, neither lingers. You realize the hermitage does not teach you to be simple. It shows you that simplicity is your native weather. Complexity was always a cloud passing through. Breathe in and breathe out. You return inside and lay the cup down with care. The room is as you left it, yet it has changed because attention has changed. You roll the mat, straighten the cushion, let the fire rest as ash. At the threshold you pause again. The door slides. Wood meets wood with a whisper. The mountain offers its long exhale. The hermitage does not hold you. It opens you. You step out, light-footed, carrying nothing that was not yours already. Breath, presence, the quiet that is not absence but depth. The path downward waits, sure as a river remembering the sea. You look once more at the roofline, the little curl of smoke now gone, the window where night and you were soft together. You bow in thanks to the space that taught without speaking. Then you begin the descent, each step a return, each stone a word in the language of gravity and grace. The mountain does not keep you. It gives you back to the world. And you go, as simple as water, of finding its level. The path winds downward through sparse pines, then flattens into an open plain. Grass stretches in every direction, silvered by moonlight, bending and swaying as if the earth itself were breathing. You step onto the plain, and the sky seems to widen in response, stars spreading until they fill every corner of vision. It feels as though you are walking not on land, but inside the sky's own reflection. Your feet move slowly, brushing the grass. Each blade bends, then springs back, a quiet bow to your passing. The sound is a whisper, constant and soft, a tide of voices speaking without words. You pause, close your eyes, and let the whisper surround you until it is indistinguishable from breath. Breathe in and breathe out. As you walk deeper, a shape rises against the horizon, a tall, slender tower of wood. Its roof slopes gently, and within its frame hangs a bell. The bell is large, its bronze surface darkened by years, yet it gleams faintly where moonlight brushes its curve. The tower is simple, its beams weathered but strong, as if it has stood here for centuries waiting for you. You approach and rest your hand on the wood. The grain is rough, steady beneath your palm. The bell sways slightly in the night air, though no sound comes. A mallet hangs from a rope beside it, worn smooth by countless hands. You lift it gently, feeling its weight, and give the bell a soft strike. The sound blooms deep and resonant, rolling outward across the plain. It moves through the grass, across the hills, into the sky. The stars seem to shimmer in response, as if listening. The tone lingers, fading only after long moments into silence. And in that silence, you hear the teaching more clearly than the sound itself. The silence after the bell is the bell's true voice. You stand quietly, feeling the resonance inside your chest long after the note has gone. The body itself hums, as though you, too, have become part of the tower. You realize the bell is not only struck, it is also heard, and in the hearing, you are the bell as well. Breathe in and breathe out. You sit at the base of the tower. The grass here is soft, bending gently beneath you. Above, the bell hangs still, a silent moon of bronze. Around you, the plain breathes, stars overhead and grass below, swaying in one rhythm. You feel no boundary between yourself and this movement, as though you are only another blade of grass, another star among the many. A parable comes to mind. A monk once asked, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The master answered only by lifting his hand and holding it open. Sitting beneath the tower, you understand the bell without sound is still the bell. The silence without noise is still complete. The wind gathers, moving across the plain like a slow tide. It bends the grasses all at once, a single wave flowing to the horizon. You close your eyes and let the wind pass through you as well, bending you gently, then letting you return upright. In its path, you feel no resistance, only yielding, and in yielding, strength. When you open your eyes again, the bell gleams more brightly in the moonlight. You strike it once more, softer this time. The sound is a breath, a pulse, yet it carries as far as the first. It fades into silence, and again the silence is larger than the sound. You smile, knowing the bell will always speak in this way, both when it rings and when it does not. You remain seated at the base of the tower, the echo of the bell still soft within you. The night grows deeper, yet the plain glows faintly, each blade of grass edged with moonlight. The vastness does not feel empty, it feels full, as though every inch of air holds a quiet presence. You lie back upon the grass, folding your hands across your chest. The bell looms above, its silhouette a dark circle against the stars. As your gaze drifts, the stars themselves begin to move in slow arcs. Their shifting is silent, yet you sense the great turning of the sky, a wheel that never hurries, yet never stops. Breathe in and breathe out. Somewhere far across the plain, a second sound rises, a faint echo, as though another bell has been struck in a distant tower. Its note travels lightly on the air, meeting your bell's silence like two streams joining. You realize the world is wide enough to hold countless bells, each ringing into stillness, each sharing one silence. You close your eyes and listen. The grasses murmur, the wind hums, the silence stretches, the bell waits. Each sound folds into the next, until you can no longer tell where one ends and another begins. What remains is only presence, vast and gentle. Rising again, you wander a short distance across the plain. The grass parts easily beneath your feet, springing back after each step. You come to a circle of stones, arranged carefully on the ground. Inside the circle, the earth is bare, smooth, as though kept clear by unseen hands. You kneel at its edge and feel the stillness deepen. The circle seems to gather the silence, holding it like water in a bowl. A teaching stirs. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The circle is empty, yet it is also complete. You sit at its edge until your breath matches its quiet rhythm, each inhale a filling, each exhale a clearing. Breathe in and breathe out. After some time, you return to the tower. The bell waits as before, unchanged, unhurried. You lift the mallet and strike it once more, not out of need, but out of gratitude. The sound rises, rich and round, spilling across the plain like light across water. This time you do not wait for it to fade. You walk away as it lingers, letting the sound follow you like a companion. The plain stretches before you, endless and open. The grasses sway, the stars burn steady, the horizon rests in shadow. You walk with no destination, only the rhythm of steps, the pulse of breath, the memory of the bell resonating in your chest. You feel the night carrying you forward, gentle as a tide. The grasses grow taller as you walk, brushing gently against your legs, whispering with every step. They seem to lean with you, as if guiding you onward, yet they ask for nothing in return. Above, the stars have gathered in thicker clusters, a river of light across the sky. You pause and tilt your head back, letting the sight pour into you. The sky is not distant, it is here, resting upon your breath, resting within your chest. You lower yourself to the ground and lie among the grasses. The earth is firm but forgiving, its scent rich with stone and life. The blades bend and cradle you, as though you belong here as much as they do. You close your eyes and hear the world continue wind through the plain, silence between stars, the memory of the bell still vibrating faintly. It feels as though nothing has ended, and nothing needs to begin. Breathe in, and breathe out. The night is vast, but it does not overwhelm. It holds you like the bell holds silence, like the sky holds stars. You rest in its embrace, no longer a traveler, no longer separate from the path. The plain, the grasses, the stars, the bell, all are here, and all are enough. The plain softens as though dissolving into mist. The grasses blur into waves of silver light, and the horizon loosens until sky and earth are no longer separate. You feel yourself carried, not by steps, but by something vaster, a tide of stillness that moves without moving. The stars above brighten, then scatter, then draw close, as if bending down to greet you. Their glow wraps around your shoulders like a shawl of quiet fire. You walk without effort. Though the ground beneath you has faded, it feels as though you are moving through air, or perhaps through a dream, yet the dream is more real than waking. Breathe in, and breathe out. Lanterns begin to appear in the distance, drifting slowly across the night. They glow with soft golden flames, each one moving as if carried by an unseen stream. Some rise higher, some drift low, some pass close enough that you could almost reach out and touch their warmth. Yet you do not reach. You simply watch, content to let them move in their own rhythm. One lantern pauses before you. Its glow is steady, its paper sides weathered yet whole. You gaze into its flame and see reflections of every place you have walked. The river's calm, the garden's stillness, the mountain's patience, the bell's silence. Each memory glows for a moment, then blends into the flame, leaving only light. The lantern drifts upward and away, joining the others in their quiet flight. You watch until they scatter across the sky, mingling with the stars, becoming indistinguishable from them. Lanterns or stars, flames or constellations, it no longer matters. All are lights of the same sky. Breathe in, and breathe out. You lie back into the silver mist, letting it hold you. The sensation is like floating on water, weightless yet supported, endless yet close. The mist carries the fragrance of pine, of moss, of river stones, warmed by moonlight. Each inhale draws that fragrance deeper into your chest until you feel the garden, the mountain, the plain alive within you. Above, the stars grow softer, their edges blurring. They seem to pulse gently, not with urgency, but with rest. You realize that sleep itself is a star, one you do not chase, but one that drifts closer the more you are still. Your body loosens, the last traces of tension dissolving like salt into water. Shoulders grow heavy, hands soften, breath spreads wide. Even thought begins to slow, each idea stretching longer, gentler, until it becomes silence. You drift in that silence, content, whole, unseeking. The mist folds itself into shapes, first the outline of trees, then the curve of a river, then nothing at all. Each image rises and fades without effort, like clouds forming and dissolving across a summer sky. You watch them pass without clinging, knowing they are only the play of stillness. Breathe in, and breathe out. A soft current lifts you, carrying you as gently as a hand might carry a leaf. You feel no need to guide it. The current knows its path, and its path is perfect. The air around you is cool, yet your body is warm, held in balance, as if the world itself is cradling you. The more you surrender, the lighter you become. Above, the stars stretch wider until they form a great river of light, flowing endlessly across the sky. You realize that the river you followed at the beginning was always this same river, only mirrored on earth. Water and starlight, current and sky, two faces of the same truth. You smile softly, knowing you have never left its banks. The river of stars bends and swirls, then arcs into a circle. Its light closes gently around you, forming a vast, glowing wheel. You rest at its center, calm and weightless. The wheel does not spin. It does not need to. It is already whole, complete, without beginning or end. A teaching drifts across your heart. There is no path to peace. Peace is the path. You breathe with the words until they dissolve, leaving only their stillness behind. Breathe in and breathe out. The circle of starlight softens, its edges fading until it is simply sky again. You feel your body sinking lower into something softer than mist, deeper than water. It is as though you are being carried into the heart of the night itself, where no effort remains. Your breath slows naturally. Each inhale is shorter, each exhale longer, as if the body itself is teaching you how to let go. You listen, you follow, and the surrender becomes easier with every breath. The silence thickens, but it is not empty. It is rich, like fertile soil, like a deep pool that holds all things quietly. In this silence, you sense the voices of the river, the garden, the mountain, the bell, all present, all alive, all speaking at once without sound. They do not compete. They do not hurry. They join together in one vast stillness. You rest inside that stillness, the last of your thoughts falling away like petals carried downstream. Soon, even the petals dissolve. What remains is only breath, only night, only peace. The silence holds you as gently as a mother cradles a child. You no longer feel the weight of your body, only the rhythm of breath moving in and out like the tide. Each exhale drifts farther, softer, until it is indistinguishable from the night itself. Breathe in and breathe out. The stars above shimmer one last time, then blur into a single field of light. That light folds inward, sinking through the sky, through the air, through you. It gathers in your chest, a lantern steady and calm, needing nothing. You realize you are not watching the night. You are the night, endless and quiet, whole and at rest. The world grows softer still. The plain, the bell, the mountain, the garden, the river, all dissolve into the same gentle glow. Their teachings remain, not as words, but as ease within your breath, as silence within your mind, as warmth within your heart. You are no longer traveling, you are home. Your breath lengthens, your body sinks, and sleep arrives like a friend stepping silently into the room. There is no boundary, no division, only rest, only peace, only the night holding you, endlessly and without condition. In the center of the plain stands a solitary bell tower, its frame simple, its bell large and silent. You approach and rest your hand upon its wooden beam. The wood is smooth, worn by centuries of weather and touch. You give the bell a gentle push. Its sound rises deep and resonant, filling the plain with vibration. The note lingers, stretching beyond hearing, settling into your very chest. The silence that follows feels even deeper than before, vast and complete. A teaching drifts into your awareness. The silence after the bell is the teaching of the bell. You remain still, resting in that silence, knowing it is more than absence, it is presence. Breathe in and breathe out. From the bell tower, the plain slopes downward into a valley filled with mist. You descend slowly, the mist curling around your legs like soft fabric. The valley floor is hidden, but you walk without worry, guided only by stillness. At last, the mist clears, revealing a pool lit by moonlight. The water is so still, it reflects every star above. You sit at its edge, dipping your hand into its coolness. Circles spread outward, distorting the sky, but always returning to calm. You remember the words of a master: "Do not seek the water, become the water." And so you rest, no longer separate from the ripples, the stars, the silence. The pool fades, and you find yourself in a grove of bamboo. Their tall, slender stalks rise high, swaying gently with the wind. The leaves whisper above you, a sound like distant rain, a lullaby written by nature itself. You walk among them slowly, the ground soft beneath your feet. The grove seems endless, yet each step feels enough. No destination is needed, for the journey itself is rest. Breathe in and breathe out. At the center of the grove is a small stone bench. You sit, listening to the bamboo's song. The wind rises, the stalks bend, yet they do not break. Their lesson is quiet but clear. Strength is in yielding, not resisting. You close your eyes and allow that lesson to sink into your body. The places that resist, the thoughts that cling, all soften. You become as the bamboo, rooted yet flexible, still yet alive. The grove shifts around you, its whispers fading into the sound of waves. You open your eyes to find yourself once more upon a shore. This ocean is different, vast, endless, yet utterly calm. Its surface shines like glass beneath the stars. A small hut rests near the water. Its door is open, welcoming you. Inside, a mat is laid upon the floor, simple and inviting. You lie down, feeling the straw's gentle support beneath you. The sound of the ocean fills the space, steady and soothing. Breathe in and breathe out. The horizon glows faintly, though no sun rises. It is the glow of timelessness, the quiet light of eternity. You close your eyes, and the sound of waves carries you inward, deeper, further into stillness. A parable drifts into mind. A monk once asked, "Where is the path?" The master replied, "You are already walking it. In this hut, upon this shore, you understand. Rest itself is the path. Sleep itself is practice." The waves continue, endless and soft. Their rhythm merges with your own. Inhale with the tide, exhale with the tide. You are the ocean, infinite and calm. The sound of the ocean deepens, each wave slower than the last, as though the sea itself were falling asleep. You lie still in the hut, the straw mat beneath you warm and grounding. For a long time, there is nothing but waves and breath. Breathe in and breathe out. When you open your eyes again, the hut has vanished. You are walking across a field of tall grass beneath a midnight sky. The grass sways gently in the breeze, moving as one body, a green ocean rolling endlessly before you. Fireflies drift above, their golden glow rising and falling like sparks of thought dissolving into silence. In the distance, you see a pagoda rising from the earth, its tiers stacked like steps into the heavens. Lanterns line its edges, glowing faintly, marking the passage of time. You approach slowly, and the pagoda greets you with quiet dignity. Inside, a spiral staircase winds upward. You climb steadily, each step light and effortless. The lanterns along the walls flicker, casting warm patterns upon the wood. Higher and higher you go, until you reach the open platform at the top. From here, the world is vast. The stars surround you, the earth rests below you, and the night air embraces you. A single cushion lies at the center of the platform. You sit upon it, legs folded gently, hands resting in your lap. The silence is immense, yet comforting. You close your eyes and allow it to wash through you. In the distance, a bell chimes low, resonant, unhurried. Its sound lingers long after the note has passed, filling you with calm. A teaching drifts into your heart. When the mind is still, the whole universe surrenders. You feel this surrender within yourself. No effort, no grasping, only stillness, only breath. Breathe in and breathe out. When you open your eyes, the lanterns of the pagoda glow brighter, as if responding to your presence. You rise, bow gently, and descend once more. The staircase carries you back to the ground, but the stillness of the summit remains within you. The field of grass welcomes you again, the fireflies flickering softly. You walk slowly, each step lighter than the last, until the earth beneath you begins to blur. The field dissolves into cloud, and once more you are floating. The stars stretch endless above. The night is vast, yet not empty. It is full of peace. Your breath merges with the rhythm of the cosmos. Each inhale draws in starlight. Each exhale releases all that is heavy. You drift among the stars, lighter and lighter, as though sleep itself has taken your hand and is guiding you gently onward. You drift among the stars, weightless, the silence vast and endless. The constellations glow softly, their patterns shifting with each breath you take. For a moment, it feels as though the sky itself is breathing with you. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, the stars begin to dissolve into a gentle mist of light. The darkness fades, replaced by a soft glow that surrounds you. You are no longer walking, no longer drifting. You are simply resting within a cradle of light. This light is warm, yet cool, like moonlight upon still water. It holds you effortlessly, without expectation. Your body grows heavier, your mind lighter, as you surrender fully to its embrace. The light gathers itself into the shape of a garden. The ground is soft moss, luminous in the glow. Trees arch above you, their branches swaying gently, their leaves whispering like a lullaby. A small stream flows nearby, its voice steady and calm. You lie upon the moss, feeling its softness cradle you. Each breath sinks you deeper, as though the earth itself is drawing you into perfect rest. A teaching arises in memory. Rest in the resting. Let go of even the thought of letting go. The words dissolve as quickly as they appear, leaving only peace. Breathe in and breathe out. The stream hums quietly, its ripples shimmer with faint starlight, carrying it gently downstream. You realize you do not need to follow, nor to stay. The stream flows, and you rest, and both are enough. The trees sway above, their movement steady and calm. Their leaves drift down slowly, landing around you like blessings. Each leaf that falls carries away a thought. With every leaf, the mind grows emptier, lighter, more spacious. The moss beneath you softens even further, as though becoming cloud. The ground fades away, and you are floating once more. But now there is no journey to take. There is only stillness, only rest. You feel yourself dissolving into this stillness. Your breath is no longer separate from the night. Your body no longer separate from the earth. Your mind no longer separate from silence. All is one. All is complete. Breathe in and breathe out. The final image remains, a single lantern, glowing gently in the darkness. It does not flicker, it does not fade. Its light is steady, eternal, soft. You are that lantern, you are that light. And as you surrender fully, the lantern glows within you, guiding you into deep, peaceful sleep.